Brought to you by Nordic Podcast.
So, give me a scenario where selling and buying micro information in today's world
Exactly. Yes.
is better.
What we are doing, I told you we are a blockchain service provider, but we also have built a second layer software system, which is a supply chain management system. So we are working with supply chains. And many people then think, oh, so supply chains, it's a truck driving back and forth or something. But actually, supply chain is everything. Everything that you don't grow in your garden or build in your garage comes through a supply chain.
Exactly.
Someone has picked it, someone has grown it, someone has built it, someone has transported it to a factory, someone put it together with something else, transported it, stored it, transported it to a retailer, and then sold it to you. So all these steps, that's a supply chain. And that's the biggest employer and the biggest market in the world today. Everything goes through a supply chain.
That makes sense, actually. Everything has to get to you.
Yeah, so that was actually a kind of problem that we had when we built this system, that, okay, we can use it for everything. So we decided we must have one use case for this, where we can show the world that this is actually working. And because we are in Norway, the second biggest export industry here is seafood.
Okay.
So we started building a module in our system that could help the seafood industry for this. So what we did last summer was to implement this with some pilot customers here in Norway. So one fish producer, a fish breeder, and a distributor, and a restaurant, a sushi restaurant.
Okay, so like a supply chain literally for fish.
A literal supply chain and a transport company in between as well. So what we now are doing, and proved that we could do and that is working, is that we are now collecting information from fish eggs.
From fish eggs.
So you have company who just create fish eggs, experts on that, are selling that to the fish breeder, which is breeding the fish and so on. So now we can store information in the blockchain for these fish eggs. So we have a technology that we call smart digital twins.
Smart digital twins.
So what a smart digital twin is simply just a representation, a digital representation in the blockchain for something real, tangible. So in fish eggs, or now fish eggs is too small to identify, so we have the whole batch of fish eggs. This whole batch of fish egg that the fish egg producer creates, we can now store information about that, about the DNA, what kind of food, what water temperature and stuff like that. We can now store in our digital twin in the blockchain.
That's insane.
And when that fish egg producer are selling the eggs to the fish producer, now we are also moving this digital twin in the blockchain, just like the Bitcoin I'm giving to you.
Right.
I'm now giving you this whole digital twin. Okay, now you own this, you own the fish eggs, but you also own the information as much as I want to give to you, or as much I want to sell to you. And you asked me what we can use these microtransactions for. Is now, like, let's say the fish producer who produce these fishes for, if it's salmon or halibut, they're breeding that for a couple of years. Like halibut is like up to 5 years they're breeding the fishes.
Wow.
And during that time, they are storing information about what kind of food, water temperatures, and everything like that. And what microtransactions can do now is that now the fish producer can actually start selling like one temperature at one time. I can sell you a temperature for 5 cents.
Okay,
or I can sell you a location, like the transport company. Today, if you order a package on the internet today, you have some kind of track and trace.
Right.
But it doesn't really work good, if we should be honest.
It doesn't. The package is not sent until it's at your door. Then it's delivered.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's like 1 and 0. It's sent and, now it's there. Because the reason is that the transport companies have no incentives to actually track the package all the way. Okay, they had to do something
every
because
2 minutes,
we are in this digital age. So, okay, they did something, but it's not really working. They have no incentive. What we now can offer them is an incentive that they can actually start selling the information for your package, exactly where it is, exactly what temperature it has,
microsecond.
every microsecond, every minute, every hour. How important is it for you? Now think about the coronavirus, corona vaccine, which has to be minus 70 degrees,
Right.
and it has to be tracked. Now you have an incentive maybe to really know where is it this minute and what is the temperature this minute.
So
Now we could offer that
yeah.
so that you can actually buy that information as often as you like.
That's really insane, the way you paint the picture of basically by allowing a tool to be precise, we also allow the precise information to be available.
Yes.
Like they say, every tool is only as precise as its measuring or its
Yes.
ability to measure.
Exactly.
And now if we can break things down into microseconds and even less than that,
Yes.
then the information...
Get the
Monetize
monetized information incentive on this.
Yeah, I think that's the big part of how it's
Very, yeah.
scalable and how people will embrace it.
So you can see now, if we want to make temperature registration or a location registration, 10 transactions per second globally for everybody is not enough.
Yeah,
we
no.
need millions
You
of
need
transactions per second. And that is what this Bitcoin SV, the original Bitcoin protocol, can offer today. Today we're already doing like 4,000 or 5,000 transactions per second.
5,000, wow.
5,000. And the reason we don't do more than that is because there is no market more than for that at the moment.
Not because you can't.
Not because you can't, because the protocol is unlimited. It's
That's
all
insane.
up to the economic incentive from the miners or transaction processors and so on.
No, it really now opens the mind creatively to... I mean, sky's the limit, literally.
Exactly.
You just have to figure out how to use this tool.
Yeah, so we started proving this in the seafood industry, and it worked out perfectly. So now we are going into other industries. So what they want is to be able to track both their packages, and the retailer wants to be able to engage customers. So what we are building now is what we were doing for the fishing industry was that we put a QR code on the package, and we put an IoT sensor on the fish package to be able to register the temperature all the way, because
that's what the sensor does. The IoT is
the
for
IoT sensor.
temperature.
Yes, it's a temperature sensor that's registering the temperatures all the way. And that was very important in the seafood industry, use case that the pilot case that we did, because they deliver to sushi restaurants, which is fresh fish.
Right.
So it has to have right low temperature all the way, and we have to know how old it is, because that's the quality for the sushi restaurants. It's fresh. Same thing here now. What we now are doing is that we want to trace the packages all the way from the creation of the package to when it's filled with some food until it comes out to the consumers, where then a consumer can scan a QR code. This already exists today, but mostly with centralized databases. There are some fish producers doing that, and there are some other products, wine and so on, where you scan a QR code and you get information.
Right.
Yeah, but you get it directly from the producer. The interesting thing here is when you do this with the blockchain, you don't get the information directly from the producer. You get it from the blockchain. And you get now information from the producer, from the transporter, from the retailer, and from individually.
Wow.
And because the information that you store in blockchain is not smart in any way. It doesn't validate the information itself. So it's like if you put shit in, you get shit out.
Right.
But the important thing to understand here is that all information that you put into the blockchain, you're signing with your digital signature. I'm saying that this temperature is this much now, or that sensor or my sensor do that.
And by signing with your digital signature, this digital signature is unique for everyone?
Yes. For every new transactions that you do, for every new temperature, for every new location, you have a new digital key.
Okay.
So it's like you're using your bank ID every time to say, yes, I guarantee this value.
Amazing.
It's like writing a contract.
Right.
That in itself incentivizes me not to lie, because like if you give me an order of you want to buy 10,000 iPhones from me, and then you have signed that order as well, and now I say to you, okay, I deliver you now 10,000 iPhones, and I sign it 10,000 iPhones, and you get it. It's only 9,000. Now you can sue me because I told it was 10,000.
Right.
Or if there is a distributor, they sign it. If the loss is there,
and you can precise
you can exactly
where.
see where the problem is and who did it.
Yeah,
so that incentivizes you. But at the same time, we also now building in AI or machine learning into this. So if we have different temperature sensors, for example, if you have just one sensor, it's very easy to manipulate. You can just blow it with air or hot air or something to change the temperature. But if you have 2 or 3 sensors and you add that together in an AI system or a machine learning system, now you can suddenly start analyzing the value. Is this value the same as the other 2? Is it a value that is likable or possible this time of year with the wind going that way, with the sun there, and all these thousands of parameters
to verify
that we have stored in the blockchain for the last years? We can now verify that is that a reliable value, and we can even put a reliability value on the value.
That's
so
insane.
This temperature is 95% reliable.
That would really, honestly, I'm trying now to think, like the implications are blowing up in my mind. There is so many uses to this.
Yes.
And not only that, but the clarity one will get in every aspect. I'm even thinking streaming services.
Exactly. Yes.
Like, because I'm always getting people on my phone going like, not to mention companies, but like telephone companies for package deals. And the package deals are so grossly, like you either pay way too little for way too little or way too much for.
Exactly. Yes.
And it's no human is either this or that. Some people are in the middle, and I feel something that literally measures and quantitates the milliseconds of usage and then charges you for those milliseconds in streaming services, in telephone networks and companies. This will be insane.
Processing time in a mega computer.
This will really be insane.
You can rent microseconds in a processing time and so on.
And even I think like transportation will be on time every time.
Yeah. So everything today is based on month, more or less. Everything is invoiced monthly. So our whole economic system is monthly or yearly or quarterly. Now we can turn that around totally, because now we can create totally new business models that nobody have thought about before. Maybe thought about, but it wasn't possible to do.
No, you couldn't implement this before.
Right.
How will you track the seconds?
We can, exactly. Now we can turn that around and do complete new, super interesting things.